Hi, I'm Kim, and you're watching Kim Wilson TV. My channel is dedicated to helping victims of narcissistic abuse get free and stay free. Victims wake up to the reality that their life has been infiltrated by evil. Whether that is your love interest, a sibling, a co-worker, some member of your church, your life has been infiltrated by evil. And the events of the last years have certainly shown us that this diabolical evil has infiltrated the global political systems, it's infiltrated the educational system, the medical system, it's everywhere. So how does this evil get up in our lives? Well, evil cannot attack you without first asking permission. Ultimately, we give our consent, and I want to talk about that today. Even demons and diabolical entities must have permission to attack you. This is an unwritten rule, and they must follow it. Though they ask in very covert, subtle, and confusing ways, ultimately, we do give them consent. So, to give you an example of what I'm talking about, and I'm going to try to keep this long story short, I had met a friend here from the channel online. She had started leaving comments, we had become friendly, ultimately we started exchanging emails until we exchanged phone numbers, and she started to call me sometimes. And well, I'm sitting here in Mexico and she's sitting in Canada. We would have these evening conversations, and she seemed to be a lovely person, someone I was very interested in having a friendship with. And as time went on, Canada, of course, was under very strict draconian measures, and she had wanted to leave Canada and come to Mexico. Well, she had never spent a lot of time here and asked if we could become roommates. Now, I lived with my son, so we had agreed that we would rent a bigger house and there would be room for her there. My son and I very quickly set up a lovely home to accommodate her, got everything in place, made sure her room was well decorated and comfortable, and we continued to talk as plans were made for her relocation to Puerto Vallarta. Now, as her departure date grew closer, I had noticed something. And this something should have been a much bigger red flag to me. Now, of course, when I talk about the things that Trevor did to me, I have very specific examples. She claims to have been a victim of narcissistic abuse, but really never presented any actual examples of how the abuse unfolded. So very bluntly one night during a conversation, I said to her, "Well, how exactly did he abuse you?" She replies, "Well, he never abused me verbally. He was never mentally abusive. He was never psychologically abusive. He was never physically abusive. He was just so abusive." Now, of course, this was red flag number one, and we were only days out from her anticipated arrival time here in Vallarta. Now, I am feeling a little confused, and I want you to remember the word confused because it's going to come up again. Now it's departure day, and she makes a quick call to me prior to heading out to the airport and says, "Okay, I'm on my way. I'm leaving for the airport. Oh, and by the way, I can be a handful. See you soon." Click. She hangs up. Instantly, I feel confused again. She had asked permission, and I instantly knew it. She had warned me. She told me she was a handful. Just how big of a handful? Well, we were going to find that out soon enough. I instantly felt like I had allowed something odious into my life. Confusion, absolutely. But bigger than that, I felt like I had been asked permission. And by not calling her back, by not clarifying what the heck she meant by that, by not stopping her from coming, I had absolutely given her consent. She had warned me, and I complied. Now, there was no way to anticipate how diabolical of a she-demon this was. It had tried to have sex with my underage son. It had brought cocaine to my house. It was bringing random strangers off the street in my house. It lied at every turn. It was drunk to the point. It peed the bed every single night. Well, it peed all over the house. It was like a wild dog from the outback of Australia. Screaming relentlessly, it was falling down and hitting its head. It was absolutely wreaking havoc in our house. It was destroying things, it was breaking things. My friends were all afraid of it. My friends were questioning why the heck I'd ever let the creature into my house. And ultimately, we had to get the monster out. We did get it out, but it most certainly didn't go peacefully, and what it ultimately did was infiltrate another group of people that I knew and wreaked absolute havoc in their lives as well. And just as I had done, they too had given it consent. Words have meaning, and though a diabolical narcissist, any sort of demon, will ask your permission before it infiltrates your life, you got to pay attention to the little things, because much, much bigger things are in store if you ignore the little things. The very first little thing that I ignored was an overwhelming feeling of confusion. Sane, critically thinking people are able to process information without having an overwhelming sense of confusion. I believe that confusion is something we should all be paying very serious attention to, because it is during the state of confusion that they will covertly ask for your permission. Normal communication between actual human beings should not leave somebody feeling confused by the conversation. So please pay close attention to this. Empaths are targets, so be aware at all times. I'm Kim. You're watching Kim Wilson TV. I love you guys, and I hope you're all having a great narc-free day.